Let's talk about the New England Patriots minicamp. What are some observations that people notice, and what are some standout players? One thing that people have been wondering about over the course of the offseason when it comes to the Patriots offense is going to be who's going to be calling the plays. Now, according from a couple of reports out there, many people are speculating that Matt Patricia is expected to be the front runner to be the New England Patriots offensive coordinator for this season. Now, I don't really know what are the credentials that Patricia has. I know he was a former offensive lineman during his playing days. He currently is the offensive line coach for the Patriots. And players have given pretty good reviews about Matt Patricia when it comes to him coaching up the offensive line, but don't really know how good of a play caller he's going to be. And like I said, this is all speculation. This is coming from what people have observed during minicamp. It seems like he is going to be the front runner to be the play caller, but there also could be a chance that Joe Judge could end up calling the plays, because at the moment he also has been very involved in the offense. I believe that he is the quarterback's coach as well. So there still is a big mystery when it comes to New England's offensive coordinator position for the upcoming season. Now, one thing that really piqued my interest is that rookie offensive guard Cole Strange, who was the first round pick of the Patriots from this past year's NFL draft, got into a scuffle with Pro Bowl pass rusher Matthew Judon. So apparently how this incident started, cornerback Terrence Mitchell forced the fumble on wide receiver Nelson Agholor in one of the final reps on 11-on-11 drills. Rookie guard Cole Strange dove at pass rusher Matthew Judon's legs in an attempt to recover the fumble. And of course, with this being minicamp, a lot of people are saying, hey dude, what are you doing diving at the guy's knees? It's just minicamp. Is it really that serious? And because of this, you already know Judon retaliated, and then his teammates had his back, and then there ended up being a brief scuffle that ended up getting broken up really quickly. And Matthew Judon wasn't too upset about the matter. He said after practice that he's a young player, he's trying to make a play, great hustle from him. If you saw him, he sprinted 30 yards away. Cole is going to be a great player for us. We got to see how he develops. Yesterday, nobody was hurt. We all came back on the field, so it wasn't anything. And for me personally, I love the hustle from Cole Strange. If I'm Bill Belichick, I'm applauding him, but I'm also pulling him to a side, and I'm saying, hey man, listen, I get it. You're trying to make a play. You're a rookie. You're trying to prove yourself, but we don't need you to hurt some of our best players. You get what I'm saying? Because imagine if you ended up rolling over his knees and he got injured or whatnot. So listen, the thing with Cole Strange is that when Cole Strange was coming out of college, he was known as somebody who had a mean streak to him. And that's not bad. You want that out of your offensive lineman. You want an offensive lineman that has a lot of attitude, somebody who's not nice, because offensive linemen's jobs are pretty much to take the opposing defensive lineman or whoever they're blocking in front of them and drive them into the dirt. So for Cole Strange, I love the effort from him. This is what you want to see out of Cole Strange. However, you don't want to risk nobody getting injured. But I think this was pretty interesting. This was one of the things that piqued my interest throughout minicamp. Standouts from the New England Patriots minicamp from this year. Second-year wide receiver Tre Nixon was pretty much the talk of the town from minicamp for the Patriots. He was a 2021 7th-round pick out of the University of Central Florida, and he made play after play during this brief minicamp session for the Patriots. He was targeted 10 times and caught all of his passes. He had a 40-yard reception and an impressive 60 or 65-yard one-handed grab. He also made several more big plays. And for Tre Nixon, he was asked about, what is his role going to be with the Patriots this year. And he pretty much said, my role is going to be whatever they need me to do. They need me to play receiver, I can play receiver. If they need me to play on special teams, I'm going to bust my tail on special teams. I'm going to give it 100% in whatever they need me to do. And this is the kind of player that Bill Belichick tends to gravitate to, because these are players that are willing to do whatever it takes for the betterment of their team. And you also got to remember that Bill Belichick is really good at finding guys in the late rounds of the draft, and them ended up being very productive players in his system. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how Tre Nixon takes his really good minicamp performance and how it translates going into training camp, which is a couple of weeks away. Mac Jones stood out during training camp. He was deadly accurate. I mean, the guy at one point, according to a reporter, had 23 consecutive passes that he completed. And I understand that some people are going to say, well, JT, it's just mini camp. It's not real football. They're throwing in tank tops and shorts. And I understand that. But at the same time, if Mac Jones was struggling in mini camp, everybody would be looking at him with the rock eyebrow, saying, oh, here he goes, sophomore slump incoming. So when you're evaluating players in minicamp, okay, you don't really want to see anybody struggle in shorts and t-shirts. You want to see everybody thrive, especially your quarterback. You want your quarterback to be deadly accurate, okay? You really just want to see a solid performance out of your quarterback during minicamp. However, for Mac Jones, I definitely feel as if he could be in for a breakout season. And remember, he was the best rookie quarterback last year. But from what a lot of people have said about him during training camp, he has really started to take command of not only this offense, but this team. He has really started to emerge as a legitimate leader. And I think that the Patriots are starting to get more and more comfortable with Mac Jones. And I think that we're going to see Mac Jones be asked to do way more in 2022 versus what he was asked to do as a rookie, because a common gripe that Patriots fans had when it came to Mac Jones is that there were certain situations last year when it seemed like Bill Belichick played things a little bit too safe with Mac Jones. It seemed like he didn't trust him all that much. Well, from what he has said and from what players and other coaches on New England staff have said about Mac Jones, it seems as if he's being tasked with way more responsibilities this year, and he has responded very well to those responsibilities. So for Mac Jones, man, I'm really intrigued in seeing what the next step is going to be going into year two. Is he going to end up ascending into being a top 10 quarterback this year? Or is he just going to kind of improve slightly? Because if New England is going to have a shot at making a deep playoff run, and not just that, but having a shot at winning the AFC East, Mac Jones is going to have to play at a very high level. So this is definitely what you want to hear coming from your quarterback's performance in minicamp. Like I said, there's only so much that we can gather from people playing without pads. And really, training camp is going to be the really big test when it comes to evaluating everybody. But for Mac Jones, the fact that he was pretty solid and he was really productive during minicamp definitely gives a lot of Patriots fans high hopes for what he could do this year going into year two. And the last player that I want to talk about who really stood out on the defensive side of the football was rookie cornerback Jack Jones. Jack Jones was a 4th-round selection from this past year's NFL draft out of Arizona State. He recently agreed to terms on his rookie deal. It's 4 years, $4.4 million with a $747,000 signing bonus. He had an interception on an underthrown pass from third-string quarterback Bailey Zappi. I don't know if Patriots fans are going to be too thrilled about Bailey Zappi throwing an interception there, considering the fact that they used the mid-round selection on him. And for those of you guys who saw my reaction to that draft pick, you would know that I was not the biggest fan of the Patriots using a draft pick on a backup quarterback when I felt they had other areas that they needed to address. So He caught an interception on Bailey Zappi. Then he also had a forced fumble on Nelson Aguilar. However, he did give up 2 big plays to Aguilar as well during the minicamp session that they had on Wednesday. But he was receiving a lot of first-team reps. He also plans to add a little bit of weight before the season starts. He right now is currently listed at 5'11", 175 pounds. And Jack Jones is going to be in competition for one of those outside starting cornerback spots. And you probably would love for him to at least get to 185 pounds, maybe 183, because 175 pounds is kind of a little bit underweight for an outside corner, and you don't need your outside cornerback to be 200 pounds plus or anything like that, but you would like him to at least get to 180 at least, and I think he definitely will reach that. And for Jack Jones, I was really excited about him coming out of Arizona State. I felt that he was a very great fit for the Patriots defense. He could end up being a great replacement for J.C. Jackson. He's a really phenomenal man-to-man corner, very physical, very good in press coverage. He also comes from her head coach Herm Edwards, which he kind of runs a pro-style system over there at Arizona State, which is something that Bill Belichick also talked about a little bit when it came to assessing Jack Jones and how he fits in the Patriots scheme. And I expect Jack Jones to end up getting significant playing time this year. And I already said this a couple of days ago in the previous segment when I was talking about how good I thought the New England Patriots defense would be this year. I felt that I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up starting, and I expect him to start at one of those starting cornerback jobs. Now, it's still to be decided how this cornerback competition is going to pan out. We don't know who's going to be the starting slot corner. We think that Malcolm Butler should end up being the #1 cornerback on this team, but who else is going to be on the opposite side lining up from him? That remains to be a big question. So this is it for my New England Patriots 2022 minicamp recap and player standouts. The Patriots only had 2 days that they practiced. They ended up canceling practice for the 3rd day. And Bill Belichick, I think he has liked what he has seen out of his players during minicamp. And I'm really excited to see how the rest of this team performs throughout training camp, with training camp only a couple of weeks away. So give me your guys' thoughts if you were in attendance for minicamp for the New England Patriots. Give me some of your observations down in the comment section down below, because there's only so much information you can gather from the internet and from Twitter as well. There's only so many people you can talk to. So if you were in attendance of minicamp for the Patriots, let me know some things that you observed down in the comment section down below.